We're back so soon.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
To Take Two with Tiffany and
Aaron.
Aaron. We just had so many topics to discuss that instead of waiting a whole week, we are back again just a few days later.
There you go.
So, I don't know who's taking the reins on this one. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
It's my turn. So I originally was going to go with one topic, but Aaron and I went on a long, hour walk today, and we were discussing a few things, and it would have been awesome to kind of podcast at that moment because, like I always say, I like when it's fresh.
And candid.
So, yes, fresh and very candid. So I'm trying to figure out, well, maybe we can discuss two things. It could be a twofer.
A twofer.
So the first thing.
Now, these are things I don't know about.
Well, he doesn't know what I'm going to ask. I mean, of course, he was there when we were talking about it earlier, but he doesn't know. We talked about a lot of stuff when we were on the walk, so he doesn't know exactly what I'm going to ask. But the first topic, I think, is going to be, with your significant other, when you're joking, how far is too far? What's your breaking point? Because we were on our walk today. And he's going to give me so much hell about this because he feels like I was really upset and I wasn't.
Babe.
I think he's still trying to learn when I'm for real mad and when I'm just playing. Anyway, let me set up the story.
Please do.
And let me set it all the way up because
I'll tell my side afterwards. Go ahead.
He be tripping, y'all. He be tripping. So we were on this walk. We were on a bike path. My son was riding his bike. Our son was riding his bike. And Aaron and I were walking. And the main street is very close to the bike path. So I was telling Jalen to be careful while he was riding the bike as to not go out into the street. And then I was telling Aaron, I was like, oh my God, if he got hit by a car, I would totally lose my mind. And if something happened to him, I'm just going to die right then and there. This mofo proceeds to tell me, because I asked, what would you do?
Go ahead, take your side.
He said, like my boy said, on to the next. My body's not even cold yet. It's still warm. I'm dead, and he's already planning to move on to the next. How rude is that?
Very.
Very rude.
But
he didn't feel like he was wrong at all. So what's your side, baby?
So here's my side of the story, also known as the truth.
Oh, so what I said wasn't the truth?
It was true. What you said was true, to an extent. So
no, what I said was the full truth. He's going to try to sugarcoat his way out of why he said what he said. But go ahead.
I'm a smooth talker. Negative. So what happened was you were in my mind, it was a hypothetical situation. You were saying if Jalen got hit by somebody, then I would just die. And so I'm like, wow, that's really dramatic, for this hypothetical situation. So why not counter that with something equally as dramatic and equally foolish? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So in my mind, the Jay-Z song's going in the background. On to the next one. So I'm like, okay, on to the next one. Just laughing to myself, having a good time. Then I look over at her.
I didn't find anything funny about that. I mean, because if there wasn't even, he didn't even have a thought. There was no reaction time. He boom. Right after I said what I said, that was his response. So I turned around with my hiking stick and I proceeded to walk in the opposite direction because at that point I had nothing to say.
Because he was heated.
Because
you was legit upset.
you all don't know Aaron like I know Aaron.
Oh,
And had that been me and I said that, then it would have been a whole other can of worms. He would have been so upset.
But again, we've already been over this part too, dear. Is that for quite some time you were already implying just that same thing.
Negative. I was singing a song, like really singing a song.
Okay, all right. So we won't get into that because then it's going to be longer than 10 minutes, and I want to keep our viewers on the hook. So
anyway, how far do you go? Right. How far is too far?
I think, just like many other things in my life, most things in my life, I think you got to go back. I think you have to go back to the manufacturer. Go back to where you were made. And from a biblical sense, I'm just going to say, I don't know where it comes from, but the scripture that says, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. So I would say that you gotta learn the person you're with. And I think you have to understand. That's why I always say with you, like, there's certain things that we won't get into in this podcast or any other one. I don't know. There's certain things I already know about you that I simply refuse to joke about because I already know how sensitive it is. Now, there are other things that are kind of borderline, and as is my personality, I will oftentimes push the boundaries just to see where things are. But I do think that there are certain things that like will trigger me, and I'm not gonna throw your business in the street. But one of mine is like respect. So if you act like you legit trying to disrespect me and are air quotes joking about it, then I get pretty upset about that. I can get real serious about it. So I would assume that's probably one of the things you don't want to joke about. And one of the things, well, there's a couple different things that I don't joke about with you because either it's too near and dear to your heart or something that's happened to you previously or whatever case. So I think it just goes back to knowing the person, man. Knowing the person, communicating. And that comes down to an honesty thing. I think it's a hard thing to say, hey, look, what you said really hurt my feelings. I think a lot of times in relationships we kind of brush it under the rug and just,
Well, for me, I'm all about a good joke. Like, I feel like a good sense of humor and joking keeps the relationship fresh. You got something else you want to say, sir?
Not at all.
Because you huffing and puffing over there. But if he would let me finish my statement, sometimes when a joke is repeatedly said,
okay.
Then at that point I'm like, is he really joking or does he really mean this? Because he's said this quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point it like takes a turn for me. But all in all, I feel like you said, you have to kind of feel out your partner, see what they can take and what they can't take. I think at the beginning, you kind of do have to test the limits to kind of gauge. But once you know that, I think that you should know what your boundaries are and you should not cross them.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that? Good, sir?
No, I'd love to hear what other people think.
I would love to hear what other people
drop
think.
Their comments or just talk about it with your partner. A lot of truth is told in a joke, they say. Let's hear 'em.
And then topic 2. Another thing we were discussing on our walk.
Yes, dear.
Is how do you feel about bringing someone else into the bedroom? So I know, and I've known this for over a year now.
Huh?
I've known for over a year how us bringing another man into the bedroom is a definite no-go.
You might as well pack your bags now.
But I've asked Aaron how he would feel about bringing another woman into the bedroom. And I thought his response would be a little bit different since it was a woman and not a man. But his response was,
My response was and will continue to be no, no, and again, no.
Why?
Because,
Explain.
man, look, I mean, to everybody out there in podcast land, y'all do you. Whatever y'all got to do to keep it spicy, whatever y'all got to do to keep each other interested. And, man, like, of all people, I get it. Like, after years and years of being with the same person, I get that, you got to do some different things but you don't have to go that far. And to me, I think, and this is just me, like, I can't imagine doing something to you that's demeaning like that. And I couldn't imagine doing something to you that's that belittling. I just couldn't, I can't, how do you enjoy something like that? So that's just me.
But what if I said, babe, like, this is something that I really want to do. Can we try this?
Then I would say, look, man, truth be told, like, if you want that other person so bad, then...
But I don't think it's about wanting the other person. I don't think that this is an excuse to sleep with somebody you want to sleep with. Like, I don't want to sleep with another woman, but if I thought that it was going to be, like...
healthy for our
entertaining for our relationship.
I don't see how it could be. I really don't. Because in my mind, I'm like, if you don't necessarily want it, and I know I don't want it,
well, how
what do we have to gain?
Well, how can you knock something you haven't tried yet?
Because I think just like putting a stick of dynamite in your mouth and lighting a match, I think there's some things in life you just know it's probably not going to end too good. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I'm like, man, I bet you I could take my bike and jump over that thing. And then I think to myself, I don't think you're going to make it.
So you're saying this wouldn't be good for our relationship, like if it caused problems?
I know it would, because I know you and I know me. You're jealous. I'm jealous. We are very territorial people. So I think even if you thought it was a good idea, I think in the end, it would be a no-go. And this is just my personal opinion, but I wouldn't want there to be, even if you could get me to go for it, which you can't, even if you could get me to go for it, like, then you got to worry about, oh, is he thinking about that other person instead of thinking about me? What's the chances of them hooking up outside of this one particular time? Why even bring that kind of mess?
I mean, of course, I wouldn't want you to get emotionally attached. And like I said, if that were to happen and there was another female in the bedroom with us, as long as you don't put your lips on her lips, as long as you don't kiss her, I feel like...
nah.
I feel like this is me. Like, I feel like kissing is far more intimate than sex. And once you start kissing people, there's a whole nother connection to me.
So in other words, let me hear this out. Let me hear your theory on this. Because in other words, if I have casual sex with any other woman on the face of this planet, as long as I don't kiss her, you're not going to be bent out of shape about it?
I mean...
Or you have to control the environment in which...
I feel like I would need to control the environment, but I also feel like if it's a lay, if you're not emotionally, like, invested in this woman, I don't know.
Nah, yeah, I know you don't know. Because you would be thoroughly...
Well, it might be different with you. Like, it might be different...
Huh?
Hear me out.
Go ahead,
you always freak out before I even finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead, babe.
I feel like it would be different with you because you and I have something that's real compared to what I've had before.
Okay.
So I think previously it's like, oh, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But I think with us, it would be different.
I'm sure it would.
And then, yeah.
The mere thought of you with another person. And I think this is just me. I'm just saying where I stand. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I tend to feel, and I can't even speak. I'm so mad.
What are you mad for?
Most professionals would agree that most people have a breaking point, a point they can't come back from. And to me, that's my partner being intimate outside of our outside of our relationship, outside of our marriage, outside of what we have going on. So the mere thought of you being with another person, that's enough to make me like, I gotta go. I can't be a part of that, because to me, the intimacy that's shared between two people is far more important than, oh, we're just gonna, like have a casual encounter. I don't get the casual encounter. I don't understand it. I don't understand the people who get involved with it. But again, to each his own.
Well, what Aaron was saying earlier when we were talking is that if we were to open that can of worms, then it would go, one man is not enough, let's bring another man into the bedroom.
Right.
And then eventually I'd be kicking Aaron out the bed altogether and telling him to film the situation. Be the producer. I don't even want you on camera, babe. Just watch.
Because to me, that's what it's like. Like, it's the old thing. You give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. So if you keep giving that mouse a cookie, after a while, he's going to want another one, and another one, and another one. Then he's going to want that glass of milk. Then he's going to want you to tuck him in bed. And the next thing you know, what you need me for?
You guys, I'm really concerned because he makes a lot of analogies about animals.
I can't. It's a
I'm
child's
a little
book.
concerned.
You used to be a teacher. You've never read If You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
Yes, I have. But you seem to formulate a lot of that with real life scenarios. And I'm just a little worried.
Because everyone knows that book. Or most people know that book.
Okay.
I'm just saying that if you were to say, hey, look, you know what would spice things up? I'm going to bring another guy in. Pat me. Even if you were able to get me to agree to that, which ain't never going to happen, even if you got me to agree to that, then what's to say after that guy and me and you is all together, and then you're going to come back and go, oh, yeah, by the way, now let's add 2 guys to the mix. Okay, but, I'll do whatever I got to do to keep you happy. That's why, again, I'll say this for another podcast, that happy wife, happy life stuff, don't fly. That turd don't flush. I'm trying to tell people, just because you're happy don't mean your life gonna be smooth sailing. So just because you get 3, 4, 5 guys in a row, you keep on acting like you're gonna do stuff to make me happy. You better not. At some point, you got to look up and say to yourself, at what point am I willing to draw the line between keeping my man happy or keeping my relationship, whatever you think, intact or whatever. And then you got to have some type of self-dignity and some type of wherewithal about yourself to say, nah, you're not going to come between me and my man. That's all,
Then I asked him, did he want to be swingers?
No.
And that was just as dead.
God, no.
So.
Still no.
I tried. But.
And that's the thing. Me and you can get toys and we can line the bed with trash bags and roll in chocolate syrup if you want to. But we can't. Nah, man, we can't. No.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a good man right there.
We can't be
It was all a test.
I can't.
That's a good man. Oh, babe. I got me a good one, y'all. Anything else you'd like to add?
I'm semi-heated just thinking about it.
Oh, he's so mad now. He's so mad. Maybe we need to discuss these topics before I bring them up.
Look, my ears gotten red.
I know. You slapping your leg and everything. You was hot.
Just the thought about you being with somebody else making me feel, how young people say, feel some kind of way.
Well, I'm not going to be with anybody else, so you don't have to worry. Well, now that I done got my man all heated.
And worked up.
I think it's time for us to go cool down.
And on that note, we bid you all adieu.
So, once again, thanks for joining us for 2 topics. We really outdid ourselves tonight. And we will be back in a few days with another healthy, interesting relationship podcast. We're talking about all the things that you're thinking and not saying. And the next one is on baby.
Wow, this
You
gives
better
me
make it good.
a lot to think about. I'm telling you.
All right, I think I got some making up to do.
Mm.
All right, babe. Say bye, babe.
I'm gonna say bye. All right. Bye, babe.